So, when we talk about numericals in engineering mechanics, obviously, in engineering mechanics, body generally, if it is a coplanar concurrent force system, the shape and size is of no importance to us. So, the first step involves drawing of free body diagrams. So, free body diagrams are generally called as FBD in short. So, free body diagram is a diagram where mm, the body is represented as a point and various active and reactive forces are shown on it. So active forces means the forces that are acting on the body by its own virtue. Either they are exerted force or they are the weight of the body, etc., etc. So these are called as active forces. And whereas reactive forces are those that are caused by reactions. So reactive forces, they are not given to you. You need to show them depending upon your understanding of the problem. So forces, these are caused by reactions. So you have another term now here that is called as reactions. So what is reactions? Reaction is a phenomena which occurs whenever motion is constrained. So if you have motion constrained in a body, then reaction occurs. So wherever there is motion is constrained, perpendicular to it in the reverse direction, you will find a reactive force which is acting on the body, and that is called as a reaction. So let me show you some certain examples of a reaction. Let us say that if you have a block like this, uh, which has been kept on the floor. So if you represent this in a free body diagram, then what do you have? You have the weight of the block acting downwards, and the block can move in all possible directions, only it cannot move down. So if it cannot move down, you have a reactive force, so known as a reaction, which will act opposite to the direction of the motion constraint. Now let us say that if it is restricted from another side also, then it can move in two directions. It can go here, it can go up. So when it cannot go in this direction, then you have another reactive force which is acting opposite to the direction of motion constraint. The motion is constrained in the left hand direction, so the reaction will take place in the right hand direction. Now let us say that if it is mm, placed on an inclined plane. So if this block was placed on an inclined plane, let us say this is 30-degree and this block is kept like this. So the weight will obviously be acting vertically downwards. Weight has no other direction of application. Now the reaction is offered in this direction. So when the reaction is offered in this direction, that means if you want to find out the angle, what will be the angle? Extend it below. So if this is 30, this is 90, this is 60. This is 30, this is 90 obviously, this is a right angle triangle, so this is 60. If this is 60, let us represent it like this, that if this is 60, then this angle, if you complete this triangle like this, if this is 60, this is 30, again this is 90, so this angle becomes 60-degree. So you need to understand how reactions are being shown, how they are being represented, and what is meant by reaction. Because it is always not that reaction will be occurring wherever you feel like you can apply, and they will always be either completely horizontal or completely vertical. You need to understand that what will be the direction of the reaction also. So the reaction, two things you need to understand. First is reaction will occur in the direction opposite to the motion constrained direction. So if the motion is constrained in the left hand direction, reaction will be acting exactly opposite 90-degree. onto the right hand direction. So these are understandings you have to develop while drawing the free body diagram. In some cases, you may need to assume the certain direction of forces depending upon your caliber, or you can say understanding. Now, if you are assuming direction of forces, then the direction, if the answer comes out to be negative, which means that your assumed direction is wrong, you have to reverse the direction. The magnitude will remain the same. So if you have assumed a negative direction, that only means that your magnitude will remain the same, but the direction in which you had assumed the force was wrong. You need to reverse the direction. Okay, so these are certain basic understandings that you have to know before you start solving a problem. Okay, so we'll be taking certain small numericals uh, depending on free body diagram, and these numericals are with respect to coplanar concurrent forces only. So today we'll be discussing coplanar concurrent, and in the next lecture we'll be seeing at coplanar non-concurrent forces. Now, uh, while discussing the first basic terms, I had shown you one type of numerical, that if four or five forces are acting along the sides of a regular polygon, then how to resolve and find out. The other type of numericals that you may come across is for a problem related to parallelogram law of forces, that if there are two forces, you need to find out the resultant, you need to find out the direction or inclination of the resultant. That you can do very easily. Two equations, two unknowns, you can solve and find out. You need to just frame the equations. Other thing was, other complication you can say is there are two forces x and y. If x is doubled, y is say, kept constant, resultant is 80. If y is doubled and x is kept same, then the resultant is 60. Determine the value of x and y. So you need to form two equations, and you will solve those two equations, and you will get the value of, obviously those will be linear equations in two variables. You can solve and find out the magnitude of x and y, and that x and y are the two forces. Okay, so this is the type of problems that we have already discussed. Now we will see problems related to reactions, free body diagrams, etc. So this is the first type of problem, where you can say some weight is hanging along from this point, and you need to find out the tensions in these two strings. So the first job is to draw the free body diagram. So to draw the free body diagram, what we need to do is, we'll take this point. Here the point itself is self-explanatory. So you will be taking this point. The first weight is 100 Newton here. Let us say this is string 1, this is string 2. So let the tension here, this direction of tension, I have assumed it myself. So if the answer comes out to be negative, I'll say that the direction of my assumption was wrong. So this is T1, and this is my other tension. This is T2. Now coming to the angles, this is 20 degree, this is 70 degree. So obviously this is 90 degree. So if this is 90 degree, that means this is 90 degree. Now let us again we need to find out the other angles also. So if you draw a parallel line here, these are two parallel lines having a common intercept. So if this is 20 degree, this will be 70 degree. So if this is 70 degree, this is 90 degree. So this means this is 160 degree. So if this is 70 degree, this is 20 degree. So this is 90 plus 20, 110. So you need to also confirm that the addition of all three angles will come out to be 360 only. Now you are
Sir, आपने उल्टा उल्टा बोल दिया सर।
सर उल्टा हो गया वो।
हाँ ठीक ठीक। तो
अल्टरनेट इंटीरियर
हाँ,
एंगल के हिसाब से उल्टा
so what we need to see that the sum of these three angles has to come out to be 360 degree. Only the representation is a bit wrong. So if this is 20 degree, obviously this is also 20 degree, and this is 70 degree, so this is 70 degree. So 70 degree plus 90 degree, this is 160 degree here, and 20 degree plus 90 degree, this is 110 degree. So if you add all these three, it should come out to be 360 degree. Now there is another assumption that you have to take is this system is in equilibrium if nothing is given in the problem. So how do you understand what you need to do? If there is a statement made in the problem, determine the resultant, then you have to use any of the laws to find out the resultant. If this statement is not there, that automatically means that the system is in equilibrium. You have to understand whether it is a coplanar system or a coplanar concurrent system or a coplanar non-concurrent system. Here all the forces are passing through the same point. So this is a coplanar concurrent system. So this can be solved using Lami's theorem. So if you solve using Lami's theorem, then what do you get? 100 by sine 90 is equal to T1 divided by sine 110 is equal to T2 divided by sine 160. So you can solve and find out the value of T1, and you can also solve and find out the value of T2. So these two unknowns you can find out, and these two are the tensions in the wires which need to be calculated. So obviously you are having a coplanar, this is a coplanar concurrent force system. So for a coplanar concurrent force system, you can to the maximum find out only two unknowns. So these are the two unknowns that you have found out. So this is one problem. Now coming to the other problem, obviously I won't do the calculations because calculations you can do it yourself. Possibly by now in the fourth semester you know how to handle a calculator. In all the problems that we will be discussing in the class, I'll be bringing it to the final stage. The calculation part rests with you. You can do the calculations on your own, verify the answers, you can solve it using different methods, etc. etc. You can also solve this using parallelogram law of forces. Find out sigma fx, find out sigma fy, then r is equal to r is 0. So sigma fx has to be equal to 0 and sigma fy has to be equal to 0. If you solve using parallelogram law of forces, then also you will be getting the values of T1 and T2. Now coming to the next problem. Now in this next problem, the discussion related to all the problems, we can do it at a later stage today only. So coming to the next problem, what a ball of diameter 1000 mm, and this length is 2 meters, is hung like this. Now you need to find out the tensions in this wire. So here inclination has not been mentioned. So if inclination is not been mentioned, then what do you do is you try to complete this figure. So phi means diameter. If you say phi means diameter. It is understood. It is not necessary that always it will be given. So you complete this triangle. So in this triangle, if diameter is 1000 mm, this becomes 500 mm. So this is 500, this is 2 meters. So tan phi is equal to 500 by 2000. So this is 1 by 4. So you will get the value of phi. So phi will be this angle. So once you know the value of phi, you need to again represent this ball as a mm, point. So if you represent this ball as a point, then what happens? You have W here. Now this ball has been supported by a frame here or a rigid plane here. So if it is supported here, obviously it will offer a reaction in the opposite direction. So the reaction offered in the opposite direction, let us say this is R, will be here. Now there is this tension here. So this tension, this is T. So this is phi. Then you can find out this angle. This is 90 minus phi. So this is 90 minus phi. You know the value of phi. So this angle also can be also calculated. You know all other angles. So let us say this angle is how much? It will be 90 plus phi. Okay. So now this is 3-4 system. It is in equilibrium. So you can solve it by Lami's theorem. So T divided by the angle between the other two forces. The other two forces are W and R. So this is 90 obviously. This is equal to R divided by the angle between the other two forces. So this is 180 sine of 180 minus phi, and this is equal to W divided by sine 90 plus phi. So obviously if the value of W is given to you, you have calculated the value of phi, you can calculate T and R. So T and R can be calculated on your own end. So this is how you represent reactions. So for reaction what we have taken, that the ball is supported on the frame at this angle and it will offer an equal and opposite force known as reaction. The direction of the reaction is shown here. Okay, so this is a second type of problem. Coming to the third type. Now here what is happening is this is a ball which has been kept on an inclined plane like this. And if it is kept on an inclined plane like this, the weight of the ball is 40 Newton. It is supported with the help of a spring. So if it is supported with the help of a spring, the free length of the spring is 150 mm. And the compressed length of the spring is 100 mm. So, and this is the stiffness of the spring, 2 Newton per mm. Sorry, this is data not required. And you need to find out the contact reactions. Okay. So here there are two types of forces. So I had told you in active forces, first is the weight of the body, etc. And the next is exerted forces. So here you have an exerted force also with the help of a spring. So we are calculating the exerted force. So how are we calculating the exerted force? What is the deflection of the spring? So the deflection is the free length was 150 mm and the compressed length was 100 mm. So that means the deflection is 50 mm. So corresponding to the deflection, it will create a force on it. So the force will be how much? 50 multiplied by the stiffness. Depending upon the stiffness, it will create a force on it. So this will create a force of 100 Newton on the body. So now the total force becomes how much? This is 100 plus 40. This is 140 Newton. So you need to understand the different types of forces that are acting on it. The spring is not shown for fun. Okay? Now what we are doing is we are representing this ball as a point. So now this is 140 Newton. Now let us see the various forces. So it is supported on an inclined plane 45 degree. So you will be having a reaction like this. Now if you extend this reaction like this, if this is 45, this is 90, this is 45. If this is 45, this is 45. So you have let us say this is surface 1 and this is tension, sorry, reaction 1. So this angle was 45. So this is also 45. It will be perpendicular to the direction of the plane. So if it is perpendicular to the direction of the plane, this angle will be 45. This is 45. So this is 45 because this is 45. So this you have reaction 1 and this angle is 45. Now here this will also offer a reaction. Let this be R2. Now if you again extend it, this is 90, this is 30, this is 60. If this is 60, obviously this will also be 60 degree. So again you have reaction 2 and this angle is 60 degree. So now this completes your free body diagram. Once this free body diagram is completed, now you can solve it using Lami's theorem. So by Lami's theorem, what do you have? This is 140 divided by sine 60 idhar, 45 idhar, 105. So this angle is 75. So this is by sine 75. This is equal to R2 divided by sine 135 because this is 90, 90 plus 45. This is equal to R1 divided by sine 150. This is 90 plus 60. If you add all these three, you get 360 degree. So with the help of this equation, you can find out R1 and you can find out R2. So these two unknowns can be found out. So you first need to frame the problem. You need to understand the various types of active forces, the various types of reactive forces that are acting on the body. You have to show them properly. And once they are represented properly, draw the free body diagram and then frame the equations depending upon the options available to you. Now come to the next problem. In this problem, what is happening is you have a bucket. The width of the bucket is 90 centimeter and two balls have been placed like this. So the radius of each ball is 25 centimeter. The weight of each ball is 100 Newton. You need to find out the contact reactions. So there are other things that also you need to calculate, but let us name these balls first. So let this ball be 1 and this ball be 2. Okay. So if you draw the free body diagram of ball 1, so if you draw the free body diagram of ball 1, what is going to happen is the weight is going to act downwards. So this is 100. It is supported from the ground also. So you have R1. Now you have another support being offered from the left hand side. So this is R2. Now it is also supported by ball 2. So ball 2 exerts a force on ball 1. So this is, you have another force, reaction offered by ball 2 on 1. This is the reaction offered by ball 2 on 1. This is the free body diagram for ball 1. So this is for body 1. Now let us draw the free body diagram for ball 2. So if you draw the free body diagram for ball 2, this is again 100 Newton. It is supported from this end. So you have another reaction here. R3, let us say. This is surface 3. And this is surface 1. This is surface 2. Okay. So this is R3 is the reaction offered by surface 3. Now this is also exerted by a reaction from ball 1. So ball 1 will exert a reaction offered by ball 1 and 2. Now let us show what all is known to us. So if you look at the known quantities, this angle is 90 degree. This angle is 90 degree. This angle is not known to you. ठीक है. अब how did you decide about this angle? To decide about this angle, what you are doing is you need to join their center to center. So if you are joining their center to center, let us say we join them like this. So R21 and R12, they will lie in the straight line. Okay. So if we do not know this angle, let us say we do not know this angle theta. So actually we do not know this angle theta also. So this theta is unknown. So first you need to find out theta. Why do we need to find out theta? Because if you don't know theta, you cannot solve ball 2. Because if you look at ball 1, you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. There are 4 unknowns. This is a coplanar concurrent system. You cannot find out 4 unknowns. So this ball cannot be solved. If you come to ball number 2, you have 1, 2, and 3 unknowns. Again, this cannot be solved. You need to find out one of the unknown through any of the other methods. So we need to find out the value of theta. So to find out the value of theta, what we are doing is we are joining the center to center, and let us complete a triangle. Okay. So if you complete a triangle, you complete a triangle, this is theta. How do you calculate this? The radius of each ball is 25 centimeter. So 25 centimeter means this length is 50. This is sure. Now you need to find out this length. This length you cannot find out, or you need to find out any of the other two lengths. So this length, how will you find out? This is 90. From 90, you are removing 25 here, and you are removing 25 here. So this length, let us say it is represented by L. So L is equal to how much? 90 minus 25 minus 25. From both the sides, the two radiuses are gone. So this is 40 centimeter. So tan theta, sorry, it won't be tan. Cos theta is base by hypotenuse. So base is 40 and hypotenuse is 50. So from here you will get the value of theta. So once theta is known to you, you can form this equation. So what will be the equation here? It will be 100 by sine 180 minus theta is equal to R3 divided by sine 90 plus theta, and this is equal to R12 divided by sine 90. So from here you can calculate the value of R3 and R12. ठीक, so first part of your job is done. Now if you come here, so if theta was known here, theta is also known here. Again you have three unknowns, R1, R2 and R21. So for you need to write on one statement here. For stability of the system, R12 will be equal to R21. Because if this does not happen, कोई ना कोई एक बॉल दूसरे बॉल को पिचका देगा. अगर रिएक्शंस बराबर नहीं होंगे तो अगर दो एक पे ज्यादा लोड लगाएगा तो एक पिचक जाएगा, एक दो पे ज्यादा लगाएगा तो दो पिचक जाएगा. So that is not done. So what is happening is, for stability of the system, these two have to be equal. So put down the value of R12 equal to R21 here. Theta is known to you. Then solve this using parallelogram law of forces. Solve this using parallelogram law of forces and you will get the value of R1 and you will also get the value of R2. So this is how you will find out the contact reactions for this entire problem. Okay, so wherever there is a contact, you have to show the reactions, and once you show the reactions, you have to calculate them also. Okay, now coming to the next problem.
Sir,
Now coming to the last problem for coplanar concurrent forces. So in this problem, this is a very set problem which is asked most of the times in university examinations. If you go through various books, quantum, etc., you will find this problem every alternate year being asked, because this is one problem where everything, understanding, skill, problem solving, everything is being checked in a single problem. So the problem statement is, if you have a ball of 50 centimeter diameter, it has been placed against a block of 10 centimeter height. You need to find out the minimum force that has to be applied to the center to turn the ball against the block. To turn the ball means the ball will take the support of the block and overturn or turn against it. Okay, so this is given. So let us draw the free body diagram. So if you draw the free body diagram, if you draw the free body diagram, this is the weight of the block. Uh, Weight is not given. Let us assume it as 100 Newton. So let W be 100 Newton. So this is 100 Newton, let us say. Now this is P. Now this is your block. So this block will offer a reaction. So let us say this is the reaction offered by the block, and this ball is supported on the ground. So if the ball is supported on the ground, this is the reaction offered by the ground. Okay, so this is the free body diagram of this entire structure. You need to find out the angles. So to find out the angles, what we are doing is, let us show the reaction first. So whatever this angle is same. So let this be theta. So this is also theta. So to find out theta, what we need to do is, this length is how much? This is uh, this is uh, phi is
25.
50 centimeter. So this will be 25. If this is 25, let us complete this triangle. If this is 25, this height needs to be found out. This, what will be this height? This is 25, 10 has gone, so this is 15. Okay, so this is 15, this is 25, perpendicular by hypotenuse is sine theta. ठीक है, so sine theta is equal to 15 by 25. So you can find out the value of theta. So theta is known. So this is theta. So theta you have got. I am assuming that you have calculated the value of theta. Now still the problem remains that there are three unknowns. Okay. So if there are three unknowns, this is a coplanar concurrent force system. You cannot find out or you cannot solve it. So you need to employ your technical skills here. Now technical skills here means the answer lies in the statement of the problem itself. The statement of the problem says that find the minimum force P to be applied through the center to turn the ball against the block. So when the ball is going to turn against the block, that means the ball will be lifted. So once it is lifted, it loses contact from the ground. So once contact is lost from the ground, there will be no ground reaction. So if there is no ground reaction, this component will be eliminated. So what we'll do, we'll write a statement first. As the ball is lifted against the block, ground reaction is removed. So while solving this problem, you need to draw this free body diagram. Then you will draw another free body diagram. In another free body diagram, what you will do is you will draw it after removing it. Okay. So this is one half of your problem. Okay. Again, this angle is not known to you. So let this be phi. This angle is not known to you. So now let us frame the equation. So if you frame the equations, you have 100 divided by sine phi is equal to P divided by sine 90 plus theta, and this is equal to RB divided by sine, let us say it will be 90 plus 180 minus theta minus phi. Okay, so this is your complete equation. Now this part is not required because you want minimum P. So to solve for minimum P, this is enough. So if you look at this equation, you can say that P is equal to 100 sine 90 plus theta divided by sine phi. So theta is known to you. What about phi? Again, there is a statement minimum. So you have to again write a statement that for P to be minimum, sine phi has to be maximum. So phi is 90 degree. So put here as sine 90, you will get the value of P and your job is done. So this is how you are calculating various knowns, unknowns, reactions, etc., and applying them in a single problem so as to calculate unknowns. So in this problem, in this specific problem, you need to employ everything, every concept of mathematics, understanding engineering, etc., so that you are able to actually solve the problem.